You know, there's been a few times I really wanted to slap myself across the face. That right there was one of them. I didn't have the mic on, guys. I apologize. Anyways, I want to start off by saying what I said before. Welcome on to the live stream, everyone. I'm glad to have you guys on. I understand today has not been the best of days in markets, and really over the past few weeks, I think people have been looking for some kind of hope in crypto. So because of that, thought I might as well bring out the suit, the tacky suit that I had in my 50K subscriber special. If you guys haven't seen it, definitely go back and watch it. We'll do one for 300K. How about that? All right, so can you guys hear me good? Awesome stuff. All right. Martin asked what's with the outfit. So I got this as a tacky gag gift. I was at a Kohl's once, and I was walking through, and I was actually going shopping because, you know, I'm not a big spender when it comes to clothes. I'm pretty simple. But I was going through the Kohl's, and I saw this suit just pop up out of nowhere. Now, it's this company called Oppa Suits, and they have these things for tacky suits for prom. Anyways, whole outfit, I got some pants with it as well, everything, $50. I mean, guys, come on. That's pretty much $50 well spent. Probably the best way you could spend $50, I think. Alrighty. Well, anyways, I hope the connection's good, guys. I hope the everything's looking good, sounding good. If that's the case, let's jump right into this, talk a little bit about markets. We've got some headlines we'll dive into later on. Just let you guys know, again, if you got donations or questions that you're going to donate for and stuff, definitely wait it off a little bit. That's interesting, Samuel. I haven't heard about specifically Paradox working with Coinbase. I know that they're going through a lot of different developments. I haven't gotten to look through all the announcements at Consensus, but we can definitely take a look at that in just a little bit, Samuel. So that is interesting, though, to hear they're working with Paradox. Alrighty, so let's go ahead here, guys. Junkin said, clothing shill alert. Yes. All these, somewhere in here you'll find all of my crypto holdings. I print them out on my suit, so that's going to be a little maze for you guys to discover. Anyways, let's go ahead and dive into this. Let's spend some time real quick to talk about cryptocurrency markets, because I understand, obviously, it has not been the best of days for crypto. There's been obviously a continued correction, and I think this is stemming from a lot of things. I think people always try, especially to talk when they're talking about crypto markets, we tend to want to find catalysts. You know, we always like to find reasons as to why things happen. That's a human, that's a human trait. It's human nature. That being realized, though, taking this in a rational sense, stepping back, I think that there's no single reason or catalyst that's causing this. It's a few different variables. The big one that I would think of right off the bat is that everyone was hoping for something magical to happen at Consensus. I didn't believe that would happen by any means. I was hoping for maybe positive regulation talk, but as I think Tom Lee, the guy who goes on CNBC, was talking about, he actually took a very rational stance at the end, saying, we really didn't see much regulatory talk. The second thing as well that I'd like to address as a potential issue is that right now there is not new liquidity. And this is something more of an issue on both the introduction of a Bitcoin ETF, which is what we're hoping to get. I've been talking about hopefully getting over the next few months, and along with that as well, a new reason for retail or institutions to get in. Now, I think institutions want to get a piece of the action because they're active in markets pretty much all the time. That's their job. But as much as new institutions want to get in, Chuck doesn't like the new night mode. I think they fixed the night mode. It looks better than it did a few days ago. So I give CoinMarketCap credit for that, taking feedback. Anyways, going back to the reasons, there's reason for institutions to get in, and I think you're going to see that with the ETF. We just haven't gotten an announcement yet. But for retail investors, which traditionally brought up the market and was increasing the purchasing power and the volume, we haven't seen that yet. There's not a reason yet for retail investors to get in. We're not having the steady creep up that led towards increased speculation, increased greed, increased interest in cryptocurrencies. Because we have to be fair, guys, there's a monetary aspect to it. There's the profit-making ability of cryptocurrencies that really interests a lot of people. And I don't think that's wrong, because I think anyone who trades or invests knows to some degree that that's why they're here, and that's why everyone's really upset when the values are going down. You know, it's a component of this, and we all know that this market most likely has a long way to go. I believe this is going to be a multi-trillion-dollar market, and that really leads me to my point. We can pin whatever catalyst we want in regards to downtrends. People love to get very fearful and to try to find reasons as to why things are dropping. For the most part, guys, markets have corrections. You know, it just happens sometimes. And sometimes markets aren't going to boom back up in a few months. I'll be honest, I will say this. Can't see much in the night mode. Okay, well, you know what? I'm thinking I can see what you guys mean by that. So we'll go ahead. We'll put it on the day mode, because I bet, honestly, in the small window, it might look a little bit different for you guys. Looks nice, though. Okay, I know I probably just blew you guys away. That's probably not good for the eyes. It certainly isn't good for mine. Anyways, going on here, guys, I really want to emphasize what I always talk about with perspective. Markets do not move up all the time like they did in December, or like they did back in October or November, or back in, April, May, and June. It's just a very rare phenomena. And the market is still young. There is going to be, in my opinion, another December. There is going to be another set of months where we have a continued bull rally. I think it's coming very soon. And that's why I'm not so much panicking when we have these corrections. In fact, I'll tell you guys later how I went shopping today. I went shopping for projects I like, some that looked like they were at great prices technically. I'm going at this moment, I'm trading, I'm picking up long-term holdings, because I know that when there's fear or blood in the streets, that's when you get greedy. It's a very simple concept, but I think many people miss on that. And, if you stick to those core principles, you'll really win in these markets. And again, talking about perspective, crypto has been great to me as an individual, to so many other individuals. And, to just ditch it off of, a 5, 10, or a 20% drop would seem kind of crazy if you really see the perspective of the long term of this industry. Let's go ahead here. We'll dive in through some statements, and then or statements or questions, and then we'll continue to take a look here at the market. Altcoin Monkey liked the manipulation video. Thank you very much, Altcoin Monkey. I appreciate it, guys. I gotta let you know, my daily updates are tended to be the most popular content on the channel, and Matty-wise, I apologize. I did not look into ZenFin. Actually, I did take a look into it, but nothing deep in the sense of its white paper and everything. It didn't really catch my eye all that much, personally. And again, it's nothing negative towards it. I just haven't fully dove into it. I have a dozen projects on my books. So anyways, again, guys, if you can, keep the donations for a little while there, because I want to make sure to answer your questions. But going forward here, guys, to my the point that someone brought up, I appreciate the compliment on my new video. The market manipulation video that I did not only felt like it would be a good time to talk about it now, but I primarily had been planning this for a while, and it takes extra time to do these really specialized video pieces, to cover specific projects, to do all these things. And for the most part, sometimes I do realize, being transparent with you guys, that people prefer generally my daily updates. That's fine. I love doing my daily updates, love keeping in the loop of crypto and telling you guys what's going on. But it was really nice to see such an overwhelming response for the extra work that I put into that. So thank you guys for your kind comments, your feedback, and again, open to criticism. I want to make them better. Do one maybe every month, one of those types of videos, and cover, the OTC space and ICOs as well later down the road. But anyways, going on here, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the market here, because obviously you don't need me to tell you that we've been in quite a negative spur here over the past few hours. I'm going to go ahead here and scroll down the chat's in the way a little bit. But so I've reduced another good $60 billion. Oof, $60 billion in valuation from market capitalization. And that is adding on to the drop since $470 billion. So I think, if I'm doing my math right, that is about, if we're going from 470 billion, that's another one. That's $140 billion wiped off the map for crypto. So not fun in the least. But at the same time, if we take a good look here at the 3-month, actually, no, let's go. Well, we could look at the 3-month chart, but again, still well over $250 billion where we were back in April. So I'm not fretting so much, but at the same time, it definitely isn't fun to see downside, guys. I'm not going to play that off. At the same time, though, I'm not panicking. Again, I look for corrections. I want to pick up things that are on a discount. And it's not like we haven't seen these types of corrections before, guys. Again, we had the correction from $100 billion down to $60 billion back here in July. I remember that. And now everyone was panicking and everyone said, crypto's done for. The one thing that I always think about in a rational sense when I love about cryptocurrencies is that people think that this market's just going to go away. It's not, because the technology isn't going away. There is no way you're shutting down Bitcoin and a mass majority of cryptos, even though some of them don't have the same level of security. These technologies are extremely disruptive, and that's why people want to get a piece of the action. That's why institutions, I think you're going to see a Bitcoin ETF in the next few months, guys. That's why I'm not panicking. Again, I'm very bullish compared to most people, but I understand the fundamentals to a decent degree, or at least how fundamentally impactful this market is going to be. Alrighty, so taking a look at market dominance here, got to give credit, Bitcoin dominance has gotten above 38%, and this was pretty much due and expected when we said when Bitcoin dominance crosses 38%, and also if we break below 8,000, we're going to get another few $100s, if not $1,000 worth of correction in Bitcoin's price, and valuations and altcoins would drop as well. So again, not too shocking. Finally, though, we're seeing some depletion in Ethereum dominance. That's mostly going towards Bitcoin at the moment, as well as a continued drop in altcoins. But I want to spend some time here to talk generally about the current stance of the market, because I think most people are kind of looking for a sense of direction right now. Where am I thinking that things are going to go? Well, to be fair with you guys, again, as some people have pointed out, because people love to look at only the negatives sometimes, as much as I've made some great calls, at the same time I've made a kind of off-putting call. I was expecting that we'd have an opportunity back here in early May to potentially break out above the 200-day moving average and obviously enter into a bull cycle. And when we got the double top rejection here at the 200-day, I was comfortable with the idea that we needed to come down and find support again at this level. But once we entered this neutral zone, things felt a little fishy. And during that whole period, it was a matter of whether or not we were going to get above 9,000 again, which would entice most likely that we're going to get a bull run, or that we were going to close below 8,000 and continue downwards towards this level around $7,000 to around 6,800. Sorry, guys, I don't know why my throat's... Sorry, that was probably really loud in the mic. I apologize. But my throat's been slightly sore ever since I got back from Thailand. But here's the thing. At this moment, there isn't much more leg room to go down. If we go down and confirm a triple bottom for Bitcoin, one over here, and over here, it'd be very healthy for Bitcoin. Again, I don't see it, though, to getting to the level of 5,000 or 4,000, guys, or even 6,000. I just don't generally see it. And as much as there's a liquidity issue right now, there's not enough capital trading Bitcoin. It doesn't mean that it just has to go to rock bottom because there's not new liquidity coming in next week. Along with that as well, there have been a lot of positive developments in cryptocurrency. Nothing that's game-breaking as of recent, but at the same time, with the luring of a Bitcoin ETF, I think you're going to see a massive rebound when that announcement comes out. No one knows when it's going to come out, though. It's going to be a matter of when the SEC approves one. And I can tell you guys, I know where I want my money when that announcement comes out. I want it in crypto, not in worthless fiat that's depreciating over time. And may I remind people that Bitcoin has outperformed fiat quite well, historically speaking, if we take a nice step back. I think we've still got some room to go in the long term, as well as crypto in general. Anyways, going through here, instead of doing my general TA, I want to tell you guys what I did stack up on, what are some projects that I was looking at. Again, I don't want to be too specific, and I'm not trying to shill anything. Again, there's a lot of great discounts in the market. Sadly, all of the percentage points have gone away because we're entering into a new trading day here. But I mean, we'll go back here to CoinMarketCap. you can just see across the board, outside of a few players like Skycoin, OX, and Holochain, and Steam, and obviously Tether, you look across the board, there's some great plays here. So I went after some plays that not only, some of them were fundamental plays that I added long-term to, as well as some that are just simply trade positions. iOS token, did a trade on this today, generally about where I bought it. It's pretty flat right now. I was up a little bit earlier, but again, we've been holding steady with Bitcoin, which we'll take a look back at in just a minute. And along with that as well, I picked up a tad bit of Substratum, and guys, the big one, I had to do it. It's the hopes that it is going to be a contester to Ethereum. That's right, folks. I got my first position in EOS. Nothing extremely massive, but definitely a decent chunk of my portfolio, at least for the freed up capital that I had, and good enough to where if this becomes the next Ethereum, if EOS really does make it and do well, this would be really, really good. So hoping that it does well. I think EOS was dropped to a nice valuation where I felt comfortable with it. Along with that as well, it got into my buy zone that I was talking about. Again, we'll hop back here to Bitcoin in just a sec. But if we take a look both at the Bitcoin chart, not only did it dip below into my buy zone and below the 50-day, but along with that as well, if we take a look at the US dollar amount, the USD chart looks very, very nice. It's at more than a 50% discount from where it was at its peak. So felt very, very comfortable. Again, might continue to climb. Maybe we might need it to come down to the 200-day moving average. I don't know. It's not enough to where I'm willing to risk missing out on purchasing EOS at this nice discount. Again, really not that far off from the lows before the real run-up we've seen. So in that case, I'm happy to get some EOS at this level. Again, you guys got to decide for yourself. Just wanted to share with you guys that I had stacked up on some EOS. Finally got in that position, so that's going to be more of a long-term hold, not something I'm going to be talking about frequently or trying to trade. It's again, a long-term addition. A nice, steady protocol with a lot of good developments and mainnet coming soon. So excited for that. We'll see what happens. Going on here again, I had mentioned I built a position, another long-term addition to sub, and my trade at the moment is IOST, and we'll take a look at that just for a second. I picked up some of this. It looks like actually I'm up a little bit. I got around 4,800 Satoshis, so nothing incredible at the moment, but it looked obviously like when we got the, on the hourly back here, it was holding quite well and wasn't testing new lows. The volume had dried out and the momentum had really picked up. And after that, once we got the flattening in price action, that's usually a good way to avoid catching a falling knife, but finding at the same time good buy zones and stuff that are cheap. Alrighty, let's see here. Ferris is long-term on EOS and congratulates the addition. Awesome, I'm glad you guys like it. I think it's going to be a good ad, but we'll have to see. I think it's going to be more of a long-term play. Let's see. Tony T, no, I haven't been to Bangkok. I'm hoping to go there. It'd be fun. I've heard it's a wild city. But no, I went to Chiang Mai when I went to Thailand. Bossman said Thailand will give you a sword. I swear the smog is just like, it's brutal in Thailand. I got to give that criticism to Thailand. I mean, it's sadly it's a country that's been hit hard economically, generally speaking, and you know. Let's see here. Robinhood, that's a good point to bring up. He said as a sense of criticism, and I will respond to this. Usually most people I don't think most people would want to respond to criticism in this sense, but he pointed out it's funny that you're always about fundamentals, but EOS doesn't even have a working platform. Robin, this is a decent point to a degree. I think that, yes, there is a matter of speculation in some cases. You have to consider the fact that EOS is a very, very early project, but at the same time, you can't rub it off as, oh, they've never developed anything, because you have to take a look at the team. I know Dan Larimer has built Steemit. You know, I've used Steem before. I've seen BitShares before, both relatively successful projects in the cryptocurrency space. Steem is actually the most actively used blockchain project, to my knowledge, outside of Bitcoin and maybe a few other peer-to-peer digital currencies. If you really think about it, Steem is probably the most common actual use case of blockchain. And as much as it might have scalability issues long term or might not work or really take off, Dan is a serious individual. It's kind of like Charles Hoskinson with Cardano. Yes, you're buying into an idea and you're buying into a project that has a blockchain. It operates. You can send transactions with the currency, but obviously doesn't have a lot of the things that you're buying into. But you do have to, in a sense, consider the philosophy, consider the approach, consider the people behind it and their ability to deliver. And in that case, I consider that with Dan. Not to mention that they've been doing testnet. They've been having success so far. Delegated proof of stake delegated proof of stake or DPoS is a really interesting consensus mechanism. We'll see how it goes on the network. And I think the fact that they're providing such a higher level of scalability, the lack of a need for Ethereum client interface to utilize a lot of the dApps, I think that's definitely good. But again, it's a little bit of speculation and stuff. For me though, I'm definitely riding it out for the long term. So hopefully that gives a good sense of a response to you. I do care about fundamentals primarily, especially if it's more of a specialized protocol or project that's talking a big game of, oh, we can do 1 million transactions a second. I posted a tweet about that the other night. I don't know if you saw it or if any of you saw it. It was I think it was a pretty funny tweet, and I was like, I used the thinking emoji, and pretty much it was a pin it like, do you actually have any functioning tech? Like, that's what I'm looking for. Oh, it's in it, cough. All right, that's better. Just needed a good clearing of the throat there. Let's see. Yes, Robin. Actually, I don't know if Robin was the person who just talked about. Yeah, I do think that NEO is going to go down to 400,000 sats. It's looking like it if we get a full continued correction. Yes, G2P, this is another thing as well. In the sense, whenever you're investing in something, guys, you are playing a bet to some degree. All these projects early on, even, if you're putting a bet on Bitcoin, you're hoping that Bitcoin is going to become a worldwide adopted either peer-to-peer digital currency or the next class leader of digital assets. You're speculating to some degree. But GTP brings up a really good point. People don't understand that when you hold EOS, you get airdrops of all the projects. So they have this massive amount of money that they raised during the ICO. And for the longest time, I gave criticism to EOS for that. I was like, oh, okay, here Dan Larimer, he's created some good projects, but he got lost in the money. He's raising all this money for all these for EOS and stuff. And it's ridiculous amounts of money. He didn't need all that. But I learned, I was ignorant back then, because what they're using a lot of that money for is an incubator style program where they're going to take on a lot of new interesting projects that are going to be vetted by, I don't know if it's either by the delegates or if it's going to be from the EOS team. I'm assuming it's going to be from the delegates and the voting process that's built within EOS. But they're going to go through selecting projects that would be beneficial to have on EOS, that are real projects, that actually have real teams that are active and can develop things. And what they're going to do is they're going to come to them and say, hey, we know you're planning to build on Ethereum, but why don't you come over to our platform? And don't worry about doing an ICO. Don't worry, you need $20 million. You know what? We believe you're worth it. And we'll actually fund your project with EOS. But along with that as well, we'll go about fostering and helping you build this ecosystem. You'll benefit from the benefits of EOS. But here's the catch. You don't have to raise capital. We'll provide it to you. But your tokens that you generate, the tokens you have for your given project, whatever it is, you need to airdrop a specific percentage out to our community EOS holders. So if you hold EOS, it's almost like owning a stock, for example, say owning Apple stock, for example, and getting dividends. It's a dividend mechanism where, or an airdrop in the case of crypto, where you're getting all these free tokens that, are for vetted good projects. And to me, that seems like a great system. It seems like one of those practical things that Ethereum doesn't have right now, because everything, anyone can pretty much create a token, and it can, we have to speculate if they're real projects or not. And in many cases, ICOs are not real projects, and it's just a mechanism to raise a lot of capital. And then a few months later, you're left in the dust after you've cashed out. Kareem, I'm curious, what do you mean by saturation of market, the market affecting price? Oh, by the saturation of cryptocurrencies. Yeah, here's the thing, guys. I think CoinMarketCap, I actually heard that they actually have some standards now about listing cryptocurrencies on their platform. That's why the number actually hasn't gone up as exponential as all the new ICOs that are coming out, which is really, really interesting to see that they're actually setting some standards. I think it's going to be a matter of anyone can still create tokens, and even at decentralized exchanges, hey, you might be able to trade them, but they're going to be so illiquid that people just ignore them, or there'll be filters to ignore them. People are going to learn that, for something to be a currency, you need it to be liquid. It needs to move around. There needs to be capital flowing through it. It needs to be something that I can easily exchange for other things. There needs to be a market where I can do that with other participants. Alrighty. Anyways, let me go ahead here, check the Discord. We've got a few people here in the hangout room. Got Coleman there. I'll get him in here in just a minute. If you guys also have any questions you want to ask on the stream, feel free to hop into the hangout channel and I'll consider dropping you in, and we can talk a little bit. If you have some questions on the market, let me know. Definitely want to get a discussion going. All right, let's go ahead and dive through some questions here. Kurinar, I'm glad you noticed the blazer. Thought it would stand out pretty well. Let's see. I don't think right now there's any massive net 5 tokens right now at the moment, James. Just not yet. I mean, you've got obviously the exchange coming soon. You've got, what else is there? I didn't get really captivated by Red Pulse or anything like that. Just nothing at the moment. MF Gallery, thank you very much. Hey, I'm happy to do it. I'm glad to do the stream with you guys. Again, if you have any questions on the market, guys, let me know. I know it's a rough time generally, but what looks nice is it looks like at the moment, on the hourly at least, if we take it to the 5 minute, I think there's been generally a triple bottom around 7,500. Not exactly, but have to see. Just generally looks like, at least for now, the storm is over. Phantasma. Okay, you know what, Phantasma, Robin, that's a decent net 5 token. Take back what I said. Tung Tran, can't talk about Unibright right now. I know it's been a bloody day for all crypto, but Unibright's definitely taken a little bit of a hit. I know they just launched on IDEX and everything. So again, I think the long-term potential of Unibright's going to be great. Again, it's not a matter of I worked with it for a week or something because advisory. No, I'm actually working with Unibright. Really love the project. I hope that it's going to take off long term. I'm playing a part in it. We've got a lot of exciting things, but I can't talk too much on announcements until we're ready to talk about them. But lots of exciting things going on. All I can say is that. Let's see here. Jack said, Nick, as a longtime viewer, I'm a little sad that you changed in the sense that you give more predictions on, scrolled up, on prices and projects. You didn't do this in the past. Why the change? Well, Jack, the reason why I want to give some sense, not so much predictions, and I'm never making a claim, guys, that you should take an action one way or another. Again, take me as almost kind of like a voice out of millions that you filter and utilize as a mechanism to guide yourself in learning in your own direction. So, for example, Jack, I used to just talk about cryptocurrencies in the past when I do my coin coverage videos. I've covered a lot of them, and it's not as easy to find projects. Oh, Daniel, thank you very much. Appreciate the donation, man. Much appreciated. But to your point, Jack, the thing for me is that obviously, one, there's a market component to this. People want to hear different perspectives on both price and then also upcoming projects. Whether that be for the speculative perspective of it or finding really interesting, cool developments, which there are starting to become a few different ones that actually are proving some sense of probability in the long term. It's exciting. It would be kind of boring for me to just say, this is what this project does. No opinion. I think some people like to enjoy the opinion, but maybe I'm missing the point, Jack. I apologize if I'm not reading your message clearly, but hopefully that answers your question. Tiva, I'm assuming that's how it's pronounced. What's your thoughts on TUSD? Guys, I'm excited about TUSD. And in fact, look, again, you got to decide for yourselves if you guys feel safe using these pegged currencies. I'll be honest, I have not traded Tether in a while. I know through my Binance referral link, I'll sometimes get some Tether through the trades that people do. And after I get a decent amount, I like trade it, and I trade it back to Bitcoin. I just don't trust it in Tether. Me personally, I'm a little skeptical. But I have to say that, Tiva, I got to say, I love TUSD. The auditing process that's going into it, all the general oversight that's going into it, and the easy entry for capital. I think it's a really, really neat system. The whole True Token, I think it's True Token ecosystem is really going to be interesting. And I think TUSD is going to be a leading example as to how pegged currencies that have some central authority or some kind of central level of trust should operate. I think it's going to be awesome. And I think it's going to be an awesome currency pair where I'd feel safe if I really felt everything was going to, just completely turn over, that I'd use it. I didn't use it right now because right now there's not enough liquidity trading it. There's not enough of the TUSD created right now. And because of that, there can be some pretty drastic fluctuations if any of us want to try to trade with TUSD. Unless you're trading with a really small amount of money. In that case, usually you can get a pretty close order. But the order book isn't thick enough yet, Krenar, I appreciate you reminding people this. Datadash doesn't just drink the Kool-Aid. He was calling the top in December. I have no problem getting price predictions from someone who's plugged into crypto. Krenar, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And that's something, again, I always ask people. I understand in these times it's easy to get a little bit angry at the market and then want to point blame at things. And guys, I understand. I obviously... I was hoping we'd get the bull market a tad bit faster. Maybe I got a little too exuberant. I'll be fair on that. But, at the same time, you have your bad calls and you have your good calls. I've been able to call a lot of things. I called Bitcoin topping out at 3,000. I called Bitcoin topping out at 5,000. I called the overall altcoin rally ending towards the end of December, early January. And pretty much outside of maybe an extra day or so of gains, like December style gains. Outside of that, I pretty much called the top on the December rally and other coin dominance hitting 25%. And we double topped at that range. And when we did, it didn't go any higher. And then we started to see the risk taking go away and the craziness and the parabolic price action. And that definitely, it saved me. And I hope it saved a lot of other people who possibly might have definitely gotten to hint that the market was getting a little too overinflated. Aaron, I still have a decent, I already have a decent position in Cardano, but Nicholas Merton is a scammer, lol. Don't trust this dude. Unsub, he's worse than Ian the monkey. Oh, that's all right, Strat. Wow. I mean, hey, you can have an opinion on me being a scammer. I don't care about that, but and whether or not you like Ian or not, I wouldn't be making those kind of insults. Let's see here. But anyways, someone was asked about Cardano earlier. Yeah, I've got my long-term holdings on Cardano. I haven't made an addition yet. We can take a look here, I guess, at the charts, see what the price is at. I didn't actually check Cardano today to see what happened with all this correction. I think Cardano might have a little bit more legroom to go if it's broken through the moving averages. Maybe see it come back down here to 2,500 Satoshis. That would be good. But yeah, nonetheless, definitely. Just having nice straight uptrends and downtrends. This is nice. And you look to add on corrections. That's the name of the game. I would like to see it hold here around 2,500 sats because that's been previous support in the past. So we'll have to see. Educate to dominate. I was just in the Philippines, my friend. I was there for a conference. I was at the Beach Blockchain Conference. Had a great time. I'll see if I can come back to the Philippines in the future because I've realized how big the crypto community is just from when I was in Cebu. It's absolutely insane. Strat, want to know why Bitcoin is dropping? Nick is shorting 5,000 Bitcoin with 100 times leverage. Don't be fooled. Strat, first off, you will never see me touching 100 times leverage. That right there tells you it's a lie. And second off, I don't think I have the kind of capital. Oh, I'm curious as to how you're reading. I'm assuming this is sarcastic, but yeah, I would never go 100 times leverage for a 5,000 BTC order. That's a good strat. Oh man, damn it, he's onto my plan. That's too good though. I appreciate the donation, strat. Sharud, moving averages lining up in a bearish bearish format on Bitcoin. Does that worry you? Sharud, I'm curious what moving averages you're talking about, because the 50-day has already crossed the 200-day. That's the death cross that everyone talks about. It doesn't look bearish to me. 50 days showing one thing as well. People don't realize, it's important to note that moving averages sense a form of market momentum. So the 200-day is still holding well. It's definitely flattening out a tad bit because the momentum is starting to factor in all of these days of price action and excluding a lot of the older days. But the 50-day itself, which is usually used as an indicator for market momentum, has started to not only flatten out, but looks like it might want to start curving. Actually, it has started to begin slightly curving up. Nothing too fancy at the moment. But the 50-day moving average is a great indicator for sensing changes. And the same as the exponential moving average. It's even better if you use the EMA versus the SMA. But yeah, the exponential moving average is, as well as the simple moving average, is a great way to kind of cut out all the candles and all the wackiness in price and really see a change in momentum. You can see this here. We started to top out here as we continue to correct, and now we started to flatten out here. We're really not seeing any price action we haven't seen, back in March, April. It's pretty much generally the same. But Shanak, I actually was going to add to Nano today, and I didn't. I was low on funds. I had to select a few projects. Some reason I didn't add Nano, or at least I don't think I did. I'll have to go back. I don't know. I don't remember exactly adding to Nano. I added to a few positions today as the ones I listed. I did IOST, did sub, and why am I blanking on this right now? EOS. That was my good long-term ad. Well, that's true, John. Here's the thing. So John pointed out if you want to do the 100 leverage, obviously you can do the math. It's 50 Bitcoin. But first off, I'm not going to mention whether or not I have 50 Bitcoin or not. The fact of the matter is that if I had 50 Bitcoin, I sure as hell wouldn't be putting it on 100 times leverage for a 5,000 Bitcoin short, especially after the market's already dropped like this. That would pretty much mean if Bitcoin goes 1% up from when I short, I'd lose all 50 Bitcoin. Man, people don't understand. I want to talk, I did my video on market manipulation today, but I do definitely want to talk a little bit about margin trading, because so many people ask. It's the same as people always ask me because they want to make a profit and stuff. Oh, Nick, what do you think about margin trading? Nick, what do you think about bots, like trading algorithms and stuff? Guys, I would say not to mess with it. You need to understand how to use leverage to your advantage if you're going to, leverage is a key weapon you can use in assessing, risk, reward. It can help you hedge, I guess, in a sense, towards other positions if you're betting long and short, and you can play off probability with using leverage. And it can be just a great way to, increase returns, but you have to do it in a zone where you feel comfortable and you're not going to lose your shirt. Strat said Nano is at $4.40. BTC Nano is where the money is at right now. Oh, you're saying screw BTC. Nano is where the money's at right now. Yeah, I gotta say, Nano, I wonder if I can actually just pull up, seeing as it's on Binance, the US. No, it's not gonna let me. That's sad. We're not looking at any stocks here. Oh, actually, well, we could do the Bitcoin comparative, but we can take a look here on CoinMarketCap, but I gotta move my little chat feed. There we go, Nano. Man, what a decline on Nano. I remember, oh my gosh, it's almost 1/10 of what it was before at its peak. What a correction. Let's see, did we... Oh God, Strat. Is Strat gonna be... I'm wondering if we have if we're gonna have another common donator to the channel. Frank Ternay, that video was awesome, Nick. Thank you guys, I appreciate. You know, if you guys like to see that again, I can put one of probably put out one of those videos each month if I'm not traveling too much. One every month or so and stuff. I think would be a good balance, and have daily updates, cover some exciting projects down the road, you know. Yeah, I want to make sure to create content that you guys want to see. Anyways, now that we've gone through that, guys, we'll hop into taking on some people in the Discord again. If you guys want to come on to the show, make sure to join into the Discord. You have to give it a few minutes. It's just a spam protection thing, and after that, you can join into the Hangout voice channel. Make sure you got a mic. We can drag you in. We'll take some questions. Outside of that, though, I want to run through a few things here. Ethereum, there's a new experimental voting effort aimed to bring some sense of governance and community towards Ethereum. Very interesting system. I read through the articles. Basically, the major point they put across is a new voting system that's going to factor in kind of passion / focus with people who are very talented in specific areas being able to be designated in voting in this area. So, for example, having a car mechanic, probably, or not car mechanic specifically, but maybe people who are engineers or scientists and entrepreneurs and developers behind automobiles being in the lead of, you know, the voting department for governance on automobiles and safety of automobiles might be a good idea. Same thing in regards to something like Ethereum, where we have certain developers being at the head of leading in development and probably having a more fair, balanced approach than letting minors or a very select few handful of like people like Vitalik and a few others selecting the direction of Ethereum. So they talked about this. I'm going to see if I can actually get the actual label of what this is called quadratic voting. This is it right here. And they also factor as well that if you, it's something, this is something that a little bit of people worry about. I think it can be an issue if it accounts for too much of the voting account, and it has to do with allocating funds for your votes. If that's the case, you can walk into some very mucky waters, because that can lead towards influence and buying influence. And I don't know if that's the best for a decentralized protocol. But nonetheless, I'm at least glad to see Ethereum's talking about this, because it needs to either evolve to a third generation blockchain, which needs governance and voting outside of miners deciding things, and needs something that's more speedy, that isn't going to focus on forking off of the network. And we need something that's going to keep Ethereum as a developing ecosystem that's going to improve the protocol, rather than, you know, where it is right now. It's been pretty slow, much like Bitcoin, because it doesn't have an effective system of governance. But some people might not want that for Ethereum again. This is something I thought I'd bring up as well, just for a little bit of laughs here. We've got two actual articles that we can talk about that are some good laughs. Nonetheless, this isn't directly crypto related, but it was pretty much a 30-year-old man getting evicted. A man, not a kid, a man, 30 years old, who had to get evicted from his home, his parents' home, because he wouldn't leave. So they took it to court, and he was evicted today from the home. I almost feel like this is some of us who have been hodling in the crypto market at the moment, staying with mom and dad. But I just thought it was a pretty funny story. Glad Zero Hedge had covered it. I know it was pretty widespread on social media and I think on most news outlets to some degree. And another good laugh as well to have was an AI-based YouTube Bitcoin explainer. This is something that's hilarious. So there was this team. I'll try to get the actual team name here to give them credit. It's down here, Botnik Studios, basically created an artificial intelligent robot that basically went through and analyzed all of the Bitcoin explainer videos out there on YouTube at the moment. So all the people who talk about what is blockchain, what is Bitcoin, you know, and basically, long story short, they were able, the bot was analyzing all this and came out and compiled its own explainer video, or at least the language or the words and stuff that would go with the video. So we'll go ahead. I'll pause the music here for just a second. We'll watch a few seconds of it. Again, I want you guys to go watch the full video from Botnik Studios. All due credit to them, but give a few seconds of just getting to hear how funny this sounds. Let's take a look at it.
Now you've heard of Bitcoin, the most valuable form of electricity. But what is Bitcoin? Is it replacing gold as the most important big deal in history? To understand how Bitcoin transactions are created, randomly pick a number between 1 and 30,000. Now spend that amount of money on Ethereum. This is known as hashing the code to get some of that Bitcoin. Joe has become popular by typing so much that he is now worth around 500 million Bitcoins. If Alice wants to make huge numbers of money from Joe, Alice can use techniques from calculus to do things like identify 4,096 pizzas. And
so you can obviously tell that the bot tried its best. It spent some time. You could hear a few things: Bitcoin, the next big deal, and Bob and Alice. But I'm pretty sure, maybe I might be missing something here, guys. But I'm pretty sure this isn't a part of the Bitcoin protocol or a Bitcoin transaction. So all credit to them. Very, very good little video there from Botnik Studios. I'm very interested to see these kind of systems evolve over time. It is amazing how and come together. There was actually a really funny video. I'll have to go back and find it. And they had one of the individuals from Silicon Valley in it. But basically it was a AI written movie that compiled like 4,000 movie scripts and completely wrote a unique script for like a little short film. And some pretty famous actors and some kind of, other actors as well just kind of came in and they reenacted it. It was pretty cool. Very random as well. I'm glad you all had the same reaction I did. I'm glad I'm not the only one who's having a good laugh and just saying, what the hell. That's funny. Alrighty. Anyways, I thought I'd share some things that could provide some laughs, guys. Thought it'd be good, but I got a good kick out of it today. I'm glad I found that. All right, let's see here. Got any questions? Dave, yes, I do think Zebi's, at least at its current price, I think it's definitely worth more. But again, we have to give it some time, see if it continues developing. Let's see here. Jack said, Nick, I love the TA of the charts, but for example, you were predicting that the XRP chart was going nowhere as it was below the 200-day. What I'm saying is that you are predicting more than being technical. I'm assuming, Jack, again, I think I get your point. So that's good. You said you like the TA and everything, but you also, let me turn on the music back as well. So I was noticing that we didn't have the music playing. Oh, wrong thing. The bomb and house thing. That's the best Bitcoin explanation in history. To your point, though, Jack, I think I get the point that you think I'm doing it solely on a technical basis because it's below the 200-day. Or maybe it's not enough TA or it's not considering the fundamentals. I think that's the key point there. Well, anyways, if I am making a right assumption or stalemating your point, in that case, yes, I agree. The thing for me with XRP is more of a trading opportunity than anything. To be fair with you guys, if you understand the fundamentals of the XRP token, you can like Ripple systems. I think, to be fair, not a big fan of banks, but I got to give credit. Ripple has unique proprietary technology. It's a very, very interesting system and use case of this technology for the application of finance. So I'm not trying to trash talk Ripple. They've been around for a while, and they have some systems that are being used by over 100 banks now, if I'm correct. That being realized, the XRP token has so many flaws to it, in a sense of fundamentals. So when I engage something like Ripple, I understand that I'm taking a risk because of those fundamentals, but I have my stop set at any time I engage in a trade, so that if things were to sell off, wouldn't go too wrong. Putting my bias aside, though, when I've realized that, I focus solely on a technical perspective. I understand the fundamentals, but when I'm trading this again, we've seen that the value of Ripple didn't fundamentally change from 14,000 Satoshis to 223,000. It just changed because the market traded it as such. They didn't have some major development, or Bank of America didn't, acquire Ripple or Ripple's technology, or they didn't, start using it by any means. It just shows you sometimes you don't focus always on fundamentals and stuff. I do for my long-term projects, but when you're trading and speculating, that's what you're doing. You're trading and speculating. Fundamentals should be there to a decent degree, but You know, with Ripple, I'll be honest, I would never use Ripple. I'd much rather trade decentralized peer-to-peer digital currencies that have no central authoritator, that can't be printed into oblivion, that must be used on the protocols that I'm using. You know, you don't have to use Ripple token on Ripple's technology. It's a big misconception. So, all right. Atib, you know, I've actually been hearing, interesting enough, you mentioned Ethereum Classic. Let me see if I can, there we go, ETC, BTC. Interesting thing you mentioned Ethereum Classic. Some people have been telling me that a lot of exciting stuff is going on under the roof with Ethereum Classic. Can't claim anything. I'll be honest, I haven't done any due diligence or research into it, but I've been hearing some people talk about some things going. And you know, it's quiet most of the time. You know, Ethereum Classic you don't hear much about. Many people see it as a dead fork, but Dave, good point. Focus on BTFD. That's what I've been doing. I've been buying into the dip today. This is the first day I really made some serious additions outside of Neo a while back, but that actually wasn't really, I think that was back in, was that early April? I can't remember at this point. Tether just exposed on CNN. Oh boy. Yeah, Tether still kicking. Printing some more Tether recently. Coming to save the market with more tethers. Yeah, this is a very freaky chart. I'll give you that. It's a good comment, Rand. Yeah, no consistency on this one. But definitely around the range where it's garnered support, not only back here in April, but along with back here over, well, I guess you had a little bit more of a drop back here back in January. Didn't trend up, though, like other altcoins did. Not in the slightest until later in January, I guess, but still nothing like what altcoins did in that time period. Alex said you look blurry. Alex, I apologize. Probably my connection or camera quality. Hope the frame rate's good. Hope you guys can hear me good. Andrew, that's good to hear that they don't. Wow, $4 million. That's good to hear Ripple did that. I'm assuming they donated, I probably took XRP tokens, cashed it out, and donated, but that's good to hear. Charity work is always appreciated. Usagi Nami, I hope I pronounced your name right. Thank you very much. I appreciate that you see a good balance in my insights. Probably have a terrible feature to me where I don't pronounce names right, if that was wrong or if I got it right. If I got it right, give this video a thumbs up. If I didn't, forgive me. Family Moving LLC. John McAfee thinks that all Bitcoin miners are under the age of 18. Well, you know, that would be true, I think, to a large extent if GPUs were still the major form of mining, but they're not. It's ASICs. And I would say rather than them being under the age of 18, most of them are probably from the eastern part of the world and are a very select few individuals who run massive mining farms. I've seen some photos and heard some stories. It's pretty interesting to see how scaled up the mining is in China. Really interesting stuff. And I'm not even active in mining. That's the thing. All right, Alex, thank you very much for telling me that the connection's good. Roy Vaughn said, isn't it the logic that when you print tethers, the price will go up? Yes, Roy, that's usually the case. And we actually did have that. Pretty sure it was over here, if I remember correctly. It was on the 18th. They printed tethers, and look what happened after the next 3 days. You had 250 million tethers injected into the market, and most of it probably being used on BitMEX for leverage trading. Let's see here. Monkeytron, we talked about Cardano earlier. I'm looking for a slightly further dip to add any positions for me personally. And we've talked about EOS as well. Mr. Green Chronic, thank you. I'm glad you liked the new video, my friend. Kareem, that suit is what I call exuberant. Michael, we've been talking about EOS a lot in the stream. I actually talked about how I made my first addition to EOS, actually, a long-term addition. Hey, Nick, use your PPT to teach multiple classes, and even my teacher... Nathan, you used the PowerPoint. I remember I sent that to you. It took me forever to get it to you, and you said And and even my teacher bought some Bitcoin. What advice do you have for spotting the next bull run top? Well, Nathan, thank you for spreading the word on crypto, doing not only your due diligence by participating in crypto, but by continuing to spread the word and do the goodwill of this movement. In regards to spotting the next bull run top, it's so funny. I tell people about how I knew that December was or generally December and January was the general top. We not only saw the correction in Bitcoin, which really gave way for altcoins to have the second leg up. I thought about it in a rational sense. Bitcoin's going down. You have all this new liquidity in the market. People want to put it into something else. They want to make more money. It's the greed factor. So I was pretty much, that's why I was heavily in altcoins during this whole time period. And my portfolio did very, very well, much like those who were December early. In regards to the top became very clear when it got to a point where I would, for example, this time period, guys, it was like the .com era equivalent of crypto. You could literally go from coin to coin to coin to token to coin to coin token, whatever it is, and you would make 5%, 10%, 20%, 30%, very short periods of time. It was a massive, massive time period of exuberance and fast price action. But it got to the point where I couldn't even find an altcoin that hadn't gone up 2 or 3 times comparative to Bitcoin. And I knew that a lot of projects not only didn't deserve that it was getting to a point where the masses were hearing about it to some degree. More retail investors were coming in. And with the instability in Bitcoin's price already and the turnover we started to see at the end of the beginning of January, as we saw the rollover here, as well as altcoins, really starting to slow down, it was getting to a point where I thought, oh my gosh, this is about to turn over. So that's why I told people I was worried about it. And luckily things turned out pretty good. Raphael's in the stream. Whoa, I'm super late. Anyways, this is the last FUD wave before Moon. Yes, Raphael, I have a feeling as well. So let you guys know, again, to summarize for those of you who might have just come in here and missed the TA session, again, this is something I had feared when we were getting the double top back in early April, or sorry, late April to early May. And that was that this was going to come down and we were going to get a little bit longer of a correction. So, oh great, my drawings just came back. Let's go ahead and take a look at another Bitcoin USD pairing where we're not going to have Bitstamp. There we go. Awesome, cool. All right, let me go ahead and get rid of any drawings and get rid of our little line indicators here. I generally was thinking that if it was going to be the case that we get a rejection at 10K, that we'll probably not only have a triple bottom here at this support level down in this range. So we might come down back to 6,800, 7,000. I think we'll probably get that, seeing as we've had this rejection. But what we're generally seeing is the slowdown in momentum in the market. We're starting to see a decline in regards to the sell-off pressure that's coming to markets. And we're finding price strength confirmation at a previous level, not only of, generally around this range of support and resistance, around 7,000. I think that what we're going to see here is one last base, one last level of support. And very soon, again, it's just a matter of when that news comes out for a Bitcoin ETF. No one in the space is really talking about it. I think a few people might be talking about it. Some people, for example, people who've worked in the traditional ETF space and regulatory environment, some say that it's going to take, I think the lady who had created the GLD ETF for gold, revolutionary ETF, that she had said it's going to take 5 years. It's not going to take 5 years, guys. The reason I can say that with confidence is because this technology is not only not going to be able to wait for 5 years. The institutional investors need an ETF to invest in Bitcoin, investment banks. They cannot invest directly into crypto in most cases. It's just the restrictions they have on themselves. And because of that, they are going to need a Bitcoin ETF. And they want to get a piece of the action. And what better time to do it than when Bitcoin is below 8,000, all the way from when it was at 20,000 back in December, when they were panicking and feeling like they missed out. They're going to want to get a piece of this action, guys, especially with equities markets, home prices. Practically every market you can think of is overvalued right now. The bond market is in trouble. in a fundamental sense, they're doing fine right now, price-wise. But, you know, man, when you look under the shed, you start to realize that there's a lot of flaws. And, man, what better hedge is there than a decentralized, trustless, non-authoritarian, new emerging currency market that's valued at around $300-something billion at the moment, that has utility, cross-border payments, trustlessness, a consensus mechanism that makes, at least in the case of Bitcoin, the most secure network on the world, which has allowed people to go about using currency for the first time that really seems sound on a global sense, a real digital form of money, cash, that you can send across the world that's on an immutable ledger that has no trusted parties and could completely uphold and upend, I don't know if upend is a word, uphold the current traditional financial system. You know, that to me seems like something I want to bet my money on, especially when the housing market and stocks and equities in general are quite overinflated, you know. Creep though. Buys 2018 price predictions for EOS. I won't so much guesstimate price like 420 donation. Thank you. Here's the thing, Creep, is that I think EOS is going to very much pull off the valuation range that Ethereum saw back in. If we get a full bull cycle, I think it could very well easily reach the levels we saw Ethereum at back in November, December, and January. I think it could very well happen, you know, because EOS is going to be one of the few protocols that come out of the protocol wars, in my opinion, that actually could substantially provide long-term opportunity. Division says, if Bitcoin reaches 20K by February 2019, I'm going to name my kid Nicky. I'm going to be a father soon. Well, Divisions, that's awesome, man. We need more parents in this world, and we need more people who are excited to be fathers. And I would be humbled if you named your son Nicky, or Nikki if it's a female. You know, that really warms my heart. I appreciate it, Division. Thank you for the donation as well. I can see by the donation you're from Australia. One of my Aussies. Love my crypto Aussies. Speaking of which, I do hope to make it back to Australia. I'm missing Australia right now. Let's see. Someone asked about Nuls here. We can take a look at Nuls here. So Nuls is, again, doing exactly what we need, guys. Look at this. If this isn't a clear cup and handle right here, I don't know what is. And I gotta say, can't wait to see Nuls continue to hopefully climb through the altcoin cycle. Again, I got my position. Haven't been touching it. So I hope it goes higher than where it is right now. Hopefully valuations will continue to rise in crypto here over the next few weeks, and if we get that, I know I've got some Nuls. But yeah, again, I like the fundamental project, guys. But I mean, again, it was one of the few protocols in a market sense that speaking of mooning with Nuls, Raphael, you and I both know Nuls is going to moon hard. It managed to break an all-time high in this bear. Yes, in this very, very, these very trying times. We'll quote it as that, Raphael. But yes, I mean, market's been hard at the moment, guys. It's just been the case. But what's so nice is that Nuls has held the majority of its gains. And along with that as well, what better formation than the cup and handle we've been wanting for so long. I remember back here, you can go back to my videos when I was talking about Nuls. When I got into Nuls back here, I said, wait, it's going to find a base. If it keeps holding there, which it did at 25,000 Satoshis, it's going to cup and handle. I'm hoping it does. Again, guys, we haven't gotten the full breakout yet. Obviously, it's in the handle formation, but that is a very, very nice form to have, especially in this market where things aren't looking that good across the board right now. There's not too much good technical trends. A lot of altcoins are closing in on their gains they had over the past few months, recovering from the lows. Nuls is holding strong. You know, this is looking very, very healthy, and it's doing exactly what it needs to do right now in the sense of the handle. And once it comes down to, I think, around 45,000 Satoshis and builds a nice base there, it needs some volume, but it could possibly continue higher. That's my personal opinion, though. Kareem, cup and handle, just like the one behind Nick on the wall. Yes, the thing does look like a cup, doesn't? That's exactly what a cup and handle formation should look like. I want to make sure. I guess you guys can see that. I'm hopping on OBS now. Yes. That is generally what a cup formation looks like. All you need is the handle, which sadly that light fixture doesn't have. Excuse me, keep dragging it down the wrong pipe. All right, let's see. Frank, altcoin cycle when the Bitcoin ETF comes out. Hopefully over the next month or two. Tom Crypto Man said January. Nick, you called it. I didn't listen and switched to Bitcoin mid-January. Still kicking myself. Tom, I think honestly, it was better. You said and you listen. You didn't listen and switch to Bitcoin. Tom, I'm sorry about that. Fact of the matter is that a lot of altcoins have recovered to some degree, but you got to learn the markets. Tom, I can tell you how many times to give you a sense of relatability in regards to myself. I've spent 7 years in markets. I've traded stocks, bonds, ETFs. I've studied Forex markets, but man, I can tell you, I got burnt many times. My first 2 trades, I actually told people, my first 2 trades were a Chinese solar company, JA Solar, which turned out to bring a 30% profit in a month. So I got that right. And then the other half that I put in for my first kind of initial step into the market was a medical marijuana penny stock. And I learned my first market lesson. Don't mess with penny stocks. That's what you don't mess with, because 98 or 99% decline into oblivion, because they're penny stocks in most cases for a reason. Unlike on crypto markets where you can pretty much have nothing to be valued, you're a company, you got to produce something. Stacking Nuls will make you 6 figures yearly if you have 100K. Yeah. I mean, look, here's the thing, guys. I like Nuls, but I'm glad to see Raphael, one of my avid viewers, is also optimistic on Nuls, and thank you very much, Raphael. I'll put that towards my Nuls. I'll put it towards purchasing more Nuls through donations. Thank you. But yeah, I think Nuls is going to be really great, guys. Again, it's been something that's been sitting under the radar for quite some time, and it's given me a lot of the signs that Neo gave me back in early 2017. Alec, do you smoke weed? No, I do not, Alec. I can tell you I have before, but for me personally, no. Not my thing personally. Dermot, unless you're Jordan Belfort. Well, Jordan Belfort didn't buy penny stocks. That's a big misconception. Many people didn't learn about what Jordan Belfort did. He sold penny stocks. He got what's known as, or he did so much, not directly selling them. What he basically did is he basically got commission off registering people on the pink sheets, which was pretty much how penny stocks used to work in the back in the day. Before you had electronic systems, you had the pink sheets, and you go through, sign up clients on purchasing worthless penny stocks, like the one I think they had some some shed that was a company or something, and he was selling that they were creating microwave, like hypervoltaic laser beam technology for the military. This is going to be 100x, I can take you in at this price and, go tenfold, same kind of scammy stuff you get in markets that seem too good to be true. But yeah, I think in that sense, I think people got to learn that, he didn't make money off penny stocks. He made it off selling the penny stocks to fools. And then how he would do it is he would then, as he evolved, he would sell the blue chips, build the trust factor, and then I've got this under the radar penny stock. That's what he would do. So, Ryan, Nuls Deep. I love how that's becoming a hashtag in the crypto community, Nuls Deep. Bitcoin Louis, thank you very much, man. Hey Dash, I'm a new follower. Love your YouTube videos. Bitcoin Louis, thank you very much, man. Appreciate it. Glad to see another Twitch viewer on here. The Crypto Climb, glad to see this is your first live stream, man. Hope it's one of many. Glad to have you on here. So Andrew asks, so would the NASDAQ need an ETF to get their crypto trading platform launched? Aren't they supposed to get that going sometime in June? Andrew, yes. The NASDAQ is looking to provide a, I'm trying to think of the proper term here, to my knowledge. Basically, an open, I think it's a trading desk where you can basically trade Bitcoin. I don't know and what means of, what type of financial product that's going to be. If it's actually going to be owning Bitcoin or if it's going to be some kind of derivative product of Bitcoin. But the fact of the matter is that when I talk about institutions, I should be more specific on this. I'm talking more about investment banks. because investment banks who are, managing, a certain allocation of capital comparative to that, maybe say of a hedge fund, dealing with larger amounts of money, and they have higher restrictions on what they can put that money into. So because of that, most traders on Wall Street can't get access to Bitcoin at the moment. Maybe the NASDAQ trading desk might be another step in there. I have no doubt that it'll be a benefit, but I don't think all traders will be able to trade off that trading desk that the NASDAQ is going to be bringing out. That's just my knowledge. I might be wrong on that. Might be the first real step for institutional money. People have been mentioning WanChain. Yes, I caught that today. I gotta say, I like seeing WanChain come down to much more reasonable price than what even I was estimating. I was thinking it would probably hold at 7,000. Just because of the fact that this was obviously holding momentum like you saw on players like on Mise Go last year, but with the correction, we got this coming through, and still haven't seen any big candles of volume yet to the sell side. So what I'm hoping for is this to, if we can get it, to come down here back to its, this kind of range down here around 4,000 to 4,500 satoshis or 5,000. In that range, I definitely look to possibly get an addition on WanChain, but more of a trade. I'm not, for me personally, I'm not exactly fully convinced yet to do an investment in WanChain personally. So. Sean, thank you for watching. 3 a.m. in South Africa. You guys are awesome. Andrew, no problem, my friend. Nice. Yes. I wouldn't call it the pimp suit, but I'm no pimp by any means. I highly respect women. We have the great women, the best women in the world. Oh, Calm. Yes, let's hop some people in the Discord. I almost forgot about it. All right, I'll bring you in real quick, and you can tell me who to have in. Hey, Calm, you there?
Yeah, I'm there. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I love the suit.
Awesome, thank you. I was gonna say I saw your comment. There were some people who had questions about decentralized exchanges. Which people wanted to come in? Oh, cool.
A question about decentralized exchanges, and also Pete. They both had.
So is Pete and who else?
Pete and Buy the Dip.
All right, cool. I'll drag them in real quick. Okay, let's see. Pete, Buy the Dip, you guys are in. How are you guys doing? Oh, Pete.
Looks like you didn't want to talk.
They both left.
I can go over their questions here.
Okay.
So Buy the Dip, he was asking about 0x and Coinbase's acquisition of it. What, if you've looked into it, how you've...
Did they actually go through and acquire 0x?
Yeah, basically what he was telling me is they acquired 0x and they plan to launch a decentralized exchange, or they plan to list the token.
Interesting. I'll be honest, I haven't heard about this. Is this a relatively new development?
Yeah, I think it happened today. There was a big price jump in 0x, and it's up like 16%.
Yeah, I did see. No, I saw the jump in price. To be fair, I was looking at CoinMarketCap and I didn't look into the reasons as to why, but that's awesome. Yeah, I know there was a lot of people thinking that 0x had some form of ties to Coinbase of some sort. There have been rumors spreading for a while. That's why a lot of the price had obviously gone up for some time. As you all know, I've talked about 0x. I think I talked about it on my decentralized exchange video. But nonetheless, wow, really awesome. So they're going to be launching an exchange. Like, are they going to rebrand the 0x protocol, or is it like... I'm curious about how it's going to work.
I don't think they've come out and said exactly what they're going to do with it yet. Brian Armstrong did retweet a partnership between them, and what Buy the Dip was telling me is they bought the platform under it or something similar to that, so they did have an acquisition over it. I don't really get how that works because it is decentralized.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, sorry. I'll take it back. I had heard about Paradex and stuff, but yeah, no, this is really interesting. Cool. I'm gonna have to dive into this. We might talk about it tomorrow on the daily update. I must have missed it this afternoon because I was so busy finishing out the market manipulation video and obviously keeping up with all the craziness in the market at the moment. But yeah, Coinbase employees work for 0x, lol. That's what Raphael said. Yeah, I mean, it's funny how like crypto individuals in crypto overlay in regards to the whole space. Many people many people I think would argue the fact. I think Chef always talks about this, Colm, but how Charlie Lee used to work, or I think it was Charlie Lee, or I know it was Charlie Lee specifically. I think he used to work at Coinbase or someone he knew. Basically, that was a big factor as to why Litecoin got listed supposedly. But
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Let's see here. They're rebranding it to Coinbase Pro. Cool. Okay. Yeah, I think that's good to see. I mean, this is obviously pretty standard, guys. Acquisitions right now in the crypto space are pretty frequent. Obviously, we know about Circle acquiring Poloniex. And it's interesting because you're seeing much more of a serious nature come in. And also with that serious nature in regards to building professional exchanges that can actually operate under securities law, meet the standards of regulatory environment, but also provide easy onboarding for users. I'm really excited to see the positive side in regards to adoption to decentralized exchanges. This to me seems like a really, really good trait in regards to the momentum of change in exchanges. I'm glad to see Binance and so many other centralized exchanges are actually going about providing decentralized exchanges, trustless exchanges in that sense. So really, really liking that at the moment. Raphael, does Colm know when Moon tell him to buy Nuls? Colm, what are you bullish on at the moment? What do you like it in the market?
I am in love with the small project Block Array. I'm sure you've heard of it.
Block Array,
I'm gonna steal that real quick. Guy that created it.
Yes, Meridian. So Meridian is one of our, not only our active members, but he was in our. Yeah, I don't know if we have Meridian specifically as a moderator. We should make Meridian a moderator. I don't know. Sometimes he might step overboard or get mad at someone in an argument. He might ban him. But no, nonetheless, Meridian's a great guy and stuff. But he's been an active member in our community, and it's so cool. Like he's worked in this project Block Array. He's the founder of the project, and he'd been working on. He went through, did everything proper, and he actually launched his own ICO, which is really cool, him and the few people who are working on the project. And long story short, whole time, Meridian didn't even shill the project to me. He didn't do anything like that. And man, I was so appreciative that he actually just wanted to be friends and active in the community, and he really seemed to be building a serious project. So I recommend you guys at least give it a chance, look into it. I think it would definitely be an interesting project to look into because it has to do with supply chain logistics, a few other factors like that. Haven't done the full dive though. I did like what I saw though from what I've been able to look into. I just get swamped with projects.
Yeah, so I'm into Block Array and then also Proof of Authority. I've been into it a little bit before you made your video, but I just think an Ethereum sidechain is something that could be useful. It brings ease of use into the Ethereum project.
That's the thing. The consensus mechanism of proof of authority seems like something that, in regards to adopting blockchain, people are going to utilize consensus mechanisms that operate on a much more, as much as in a sense we're trying to remove trust, on a little bit more of an authoritative sense in a governance system that is based on identity and trusted figures to some degree. So I think that you're going to have proof of authority be a pretty mainstream consensus mechanism unless something better comes up in the future. Raphael, make me mod. Too many noobs in your Discord server. Raphael, I think we actually tried to find back on the logs and we couldn't get it. Man, I'm really trying to think of a way. Cole, maybe if you could maybe work to see if you could get Raphael back on and stuff. I can't remember.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely if we can see if we can get the mods in there because we've been meaning to get Raphael back on for quite some time. Let's see. Gang and Depth said, Coinbase did not acquire OX. They acquired OX-powered protocol DEX. Do you think OX is a good buy now? Also, what are your thoughts on Pearl? Well, Gang and Depth, I'm sorry. Gang and Deep, sorry, I might be saying your name wrong. Terrible bad names. In regards to Pearl, you guys know I'm a long-term holder on Pearl. Still sitting there. Haven't touched it. In regards to OX, I don't know if it's a good buy right now. I'm curious if Coinbase has gone about acquiring the OX-powered protocol, decentralized exchange. I don't know if that's going to lead towards a good opportunity for the OX token, or if that's not going to be a good idea. I need to do more reading up on it, and I don't know enough on OX specifically in its token metrics in order to really speak on it.
All right, Raphael, I just posted my Discord in the YouTube chat there. You can DM me and then I'll try and get you unbanned.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Colm. I appreciate that.
I also had another question about Deep Onion. if you've looked into that, and if you could talk about that.
I liked Deep Onion's roadmap. I mean, they're still very early stage. I can't remember. Do they use ring signatures or zero knowledge proofs for transactions? I can't remember.
I have no idea, actually. I just got a question right.
Generally speaking, though, they're a privacy-based cryptocurrency, and at the moment, they have a good roadmap. I think they've got a good basis for where they want to go long term. And obviously, it's a small cap, so there's more potential in the sense of investment for return. But when I'm looking at peer-to-peer digital currency, I really focus on, are the fundamentals unique? Is there something different? And just as of yet, I haven't seen anything major. Again, I get so many projects and stuff, so I haven't looked at it in about a month or two. I think it's been about 2 months. I looked back in it, February, January. So that was when I really actively checked into it. It was during altcoin season. Some people were mentioning it. But in regards to Deep Onion, I did like their roadmap and some of their ambitions. So we'll have to see if it can beat out the dozens of other privacy-focused cryptocurrencies out there. But I did like the direction they were taking. Let's see. They're using stealth addresses. Okay, cool, good stuff.
Also, I heard you talk about EOS earlier in the stream. I'll check my Discord, Raphael. I just saw that. After I'm done talking about EOS here, I'll be sure to get you in. So, what was I saying? I was looking at EOS, and EOS does have designated proof of stake. It is a very secure way to get a currency to done, but there's a lot of trust with the validators involved. You think because it has this centralized trust involved in it, that it will be separate from Ethereum and not really as big, but more of an incubator program for projects than a platform for every single currency? Or do you think it's going to be the same? Do you think designated proof of stake will hold it back at all?
Oh, delegated proof of stake?
Delegated, sorry.
Yeah. Delegated proof of stake, here's the thing. Delegated proof of stake, to put it in the simplest explanation for those who don't know, delegated proof of stake basically is when you delegate, you're delegating 21, in the case of EOS, 21 delegates who not only generally hold a lot of EOS, they don't have to be the highest holders of EOS coins, but generally high owners of EOS, so it's kind of like proof of stake in a sense, or you own a large stake in it, so you have a stake in the network. So you wouldn't want to operate against it. But these delegates are people who are active community members, people who are generally, I think at the beginning, I don't think they're getting elected in a governance process. They're selected by the EOS team. But over time, they'll actually be voted through in a governance system. And these 21 delegates are what help reach consensus on the network. They have a massive stake in making sure that the network operates under consensus. And along with that as well, these are figures and stuff, again, who are generally trusted in the community. Now, some people would argue that this consensus mechanism is nowhere close to the safety of Bitcoin, for example. And you'd be absolutely right. Bitcoin is a pretty much trustless system. So long as you can avoid against a 51% attack, the network itself should run smoothly. It's been running relatively smoothly for the past 9 years since its inception. So with that being realized, what we have to consider, though, is that Bitcoin itself is not horizontally scalable. It is not becoming more efficient over time. In fact, it's actually serving as a burden right now because we put more computational power in over time, and we're still getting the same transaction throughput. That's not a good system to scale long term, and that's why blockchains are struggling to scale. I think delegated proof of stake in regards to building enterprise applications and having something like EOS as a platform for a protocol to launch decentralized applications and execute smart contracts and all these things. I think you need something that's going to have a faster means of consensus. And I think, we've seen proof of stake. Charles Hoskinson brings this up. A lot of people say, oh, proof of stake is not as secure. It's like, well, we really haven't had much issues with POS yet. It's a very, very rare chance that you can have someone disrupt the network or pull a 51% attack. In the case of DPoS, I think it's an even better system. And I think that it's going to be perfect for something, like EOS to compete with Ethereum. Excuse me, I sneeze. But yeah, I think that's the general case right now at the moment, is that EOS is offering something new to the table. It's good to see new means of, again, we've seen other projects with DPoS before, but a real steady competitor with Ethereum. And to see this protocol become at the value that it is, and with all the projects that are going to be landing on top of it when mainnet launches, it's going to be interesting to see how DPoS works, and we'll see if there's any errors in it on this kind of network where there's going to be a lot of new projects getting listed.
All right, yeah, that answers my question. So I guess I should probably look into a designated proof of stake more.
Yeah, no, delegated proof of stake is an interesting system. There's a few articles online kind of dispelling a little bit of the FUD on how it actually works, and a lot of people are like, oh, it's very centralized. You got to look into it and stuff, and you know, think about it and stuff. You know, it's an interesting concept. Let's see. Grey Ghost TV. Nick, did you read my tweets in regards to the Google Hangout I'm assuming that's series, or is it series? There are a lot of important fundamentals which people aren't talking about. Greg goes, well, if you want to hop on the Discord and talk about some of those fundamentals, join into the Hangout channel. I know who you are. Definitely hop on, and we'll have you into the live stream and definitely talk about it. So we'd love to hear some of those fundamentals you're thinking about at the moment.
He really wants to hop on, but every time you live stream, he's always at school.
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, he is. Yeah, I guess the time differences. Mr. Lemur pointed out they are being elected, and Creep said the first 21 are randomized. Yeah, it might be missing some small specs on it, guys, but I think DPoS generally is a good system. Raphael, is it really? I didn't. Is POS really prone to a Sybil attack? I'd like to learn why, because I know what a Sybil attack is, but I'm curious about how that would work in regards to a system like, or you're talking about proof of stake specifically. Yeah, I could see how POS could be vulnerable in some sense when you're doing random electors in regards to doing the next block. I could see how there could be a chance for Sybil attacks, but we don't see too many getting executed on networks. You're saying that Hashgraph is going to use POS. Yeah, I think Hashgraph is doing a lot of things right. The biggest criticism I have for Hashgraph is how they're raising capital. It is definitely not going to be a good distribution of tokens in the long term, and so many of them are locked up for years, which is very upsetting. Oops, up Skype. Let's see here. Do we have? I want to get Grey Ghost on here. I haven't talked to Grey in a while. It'd be great to have. It'd be great to have Grey on. Okay, I'm gonna cut on the puns. Grey Ghost said everything is prone to a Sybil attack. It's almost more. It's a lot more complicated than just the percentage of which it can be attacked. It's a good point. I think, you know. Well, I might be wrong on this, but I don't think every system is prone. At least, I mean. I guess it can vary in the sense of possibility, but, you know, in regards to Sybil attacks, I think it's much more frequent on some systems than others. And Water says, the real question is, how much Dogecoin do you own? Look, I'm not a whale, a Bitcoin whale. I'm a Dogecoin whale, guys. Okay, there's a reason you don't hear me talk about it. You know, I've been stacking up on this Dogecoin. You just wait. I'm gonna start shilling Dogecoin. I'm gonna start shilling it. No, I'm just kidding. Let's see here. Yeah, TY, I saw Neblio as well. Neblio, nice discount, back down towards this range. Hopefully it'll garner support around 10,000 Satoshis. Sad to see such a depletion. You know, it really closed out the April gains that we were calling for on Neblio, but nonetheless, you know, gotta have a correction. Most of the market's been pretty much generally down in the same range. Well, Greg goes, Hashgraph isn't exactly, to my knowledge, closed source. The whole thing about Hashgraph is it's going to be open source now. The code's out there because they're having the public ledger, because it's not Hashgraph anymore. It's Hedera Hashgraph. So I might be wrong on that. I would think the code needs to be open source if they're going to launch an open public ledger, you know, protocol and everything. Mr. Lemur, yes, I had seen Pied Piper Coin. I've been watching and catching up on Silicon Valley. One of the few shows I can actually still watch nowadays. There's little TV that actually catches my eye, and they've been doing a good job so far. On I guess they finished it. I watched the last episode, but they did a good job on the season. I like how someone actually created a real Pied Piper Coin. That was pretty funny. Alright, guys, I think we'll go through a few more questions here. Maybe we'll get Grey Ghost on the Discord if he's not in already. I'd like to have Grey on here.
I actually got Raphael to join the server here.
I saw him. Should we have Raphael on?
He says he wants to come in, if that's okay with you.
Alright, I haven't talked to Raphael in a while. Raphael, how you doing, man?
Yo, what's up?
Hey, Haven't seen you since Canada. How have you been doing, man?
Doing awesome.
So I got to ask you, Raphael, because you're the man of mooning. You spotted a lot of early birds. What are you looking for right now in the market?
My biggest position right now is Constellation, as far as private sales.
Oh, Constellation Labs?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. You like the project?
Yeah, it's gonna moon.
Yeah, no, actually, to be fair, I actually, not too long ago, about I think it was a few days ago or a week ago, I actually got to talk to a little bit of the team from Constellation. But yeah, they seem to have some really interesting stuff. I liked, I'm trying to remember specifically what it was called. We were going through and they were explaining. They actually took the time. I noticed they were in out of all things, I noticed first they were in a WeWork building. Because I was working out in Silicon Valley and was going to move to San Francisco. And I instantly noticed the office they were in looked exactly like a WeWork building, which is where a lot of the new ICOs and startups are based out of for crypto.
Cool.
No, they were telling me some of the systems. Again, I'll be honest, I'm terrible with names, so I won't be able to name them that well, but how a lot of the generally just how the protocol is working, and it's pretty interesting. So I've got to do some extra diving on the white paper and look into it.
The white paper is kind of aids if you're like you're a noob. Because there's too much math on there.
No, that's the thing I was noticing.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I like to analyze the technical side, but I'm no mathematician by any means. But it's good to see at least they're getting down to the nitty gritty part of things.
Yeah, they have an Indian guy that's like a doctor in math, so it's legit.
Let's see here. Don't see Constellation on CoinMarketCap. Well, Gresco, when it's because it's still is it still pre-sale phase right now, or has it hit?
PGE tokens are getting generated on the 31st, and then distributions like somewhere near there, and then the airdrops given to everyone on July 7th or something.
Yeah, no, I heard it was relatively close coming up. That's what they were mentioning to me. So yeah, I think we're going to talk pretty soon.
Is Constellation based on a platform or is it on its own blockchain?
It's a DAG.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what caught me initially because I'm excited about DAG technology generally, but DAGs are improving to a pretty high degree. They were most early DAG projects like Rayblocks and stuff have proposed some good, I guess, scalability in regards to cryptocurrencies, and I like how you can't.
Nano's as good as a proof of concept, but they didn't make an entire platform or anything like that.
That's the thing. There's a lot of projects under the radar. I think it's Tarax is the one that I'm looking at right now that is basically using Nano's DAG, and what they're doing is they're trying to apply it to IoT, so they're doing Internet of Things. And I was like, DAGs seem much more practical for something like Internet of Things than a blockchain per se, which doesn't scale very well and doesn't have fast transaction throughput. And, again, it just doesn't, I don't feel the need for a blockchain, which is focused on immutability and, censorship resistance for IoT. Those don't really sound like benefits you need for IoT. But let's see here. Gray goes, Nick, I'll be home in an hour and a bit. Oh, Gray, I think we'll be off the stream by that time. But I nonetheless, we can definitely have you on next time. We'll be doing a stream here soon. And I definitely want to hear in the Discord what you're thinking about. Let's see here. Roy Vaughn, Nick, does that Nebula volume look like the market making from your manipulation video you're discussing? Well, I gotta say, yeah, that actually could be. I don't know if Nebula is one of the cases I looked at. No, I think I used Chainlink and Nuls, surprisingly enough, two players that I like. It doesn't mean that they're trying to so much misconcede people or mislead them. But in regards to, yeah, it definitely does look a little bit like market maker volume right there, because you've got, unless you've just got people coming in and buying that frequently on the daily, that's a pretty big shift in daily volume there to see that kind of rise in volume. And obviously market makers tend to have a relatively flat level of volume, but you can see there's a slight decline over time because they generally aren't obviously holding or getting rid of as much coins or circulating as much coins as they start to make the profit off of the initial coins they purchase off of the spread between the bid and the ask. But yeah, definitely looks like there was a little bit of market making there. It's pretty frequent, guys. It happens on a lot of players in the crypto space to keep markets liquid. You see it in ICOs. It has its pros, and at the same time it has its cons. It can mislead a lot of people. But that's how the market maker's making his profit. He's getting people, it's getting the market interesting. It's making it more liquid. And you can see as the price goes up, he's able to start closing a lot of the positions that he started to purchase around this price range. But they also take on the risk. Sometimes market making doesn't work and it goes right through the bottom. And that's why they charge also commissions and fees for it. All right. Mohamed, nice to have you on here, man. Hey, Nick, it's 5:30 in Dubai, checking in. Awesome, man. Nice to hear from you. It was awesome. We got to meet in Dubai and everything. Really good time. And yeah, man, hoping to make it back to Dubai. Dubai was an awesome time. Got to meet a lot of the other YouTubers as well, which is really, really cool. I will go ahead through and answer a few more questions here, guys. If you have any questions for the general Discord group, let me know. And then also as well, if you guys want to keep up the chatter, I'll be on the Discord later tonight after the live stream. I'll hop on there afterwards. Let's go ahead here and see if we got any good questions. Division is saying markets back up. Let's see how markets are doing at the moment. Oh, Bitcoin's starting to show a little bit of positivity. Got that double bottom there on the 15-minute chart. Looking like it's going to rebound again, guys. That's why I started to stack up on some altcoins. Again, we might have a little bit more downside, but yes, I do plan to visit Dubai again. Yes. Simple answer to that question. 14 DMG. I don't know enough about Seal Network, but I really like, again, it's the immutability and the history that immutable ledgers can provide that makes Seal seem like it's a very, very applicable use case of blockchain, you know. So I think Seal is interesting, but it'd be more of learning a little bit deeper and reading into the white paper and understanding, you know, how is this going to be better than other ledgers out there that are working in supply chain logistics. Let's see. Otam Chong. Hey Nick, longtime fan of videos and insights. By the way, can I offer you subs? Our Zircle airdrop. You know, look, I mean, honestly, if people want to take upon it, you know, you guys can go check it out. I don't know anything about the project personally, Tom, but best of luck with your project, and I appreciate the donation. It's cool to see you guys are doing an airdrop. Gotta run, you rock. Thanks much, Nick. Frank, thank you very much. Glad to have you on the stream, my friend. Hope you have a wonderful rest of the night, if that's where you are right now. If it's daytime, hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. Let's go ahead and do one last good question. Give me a good juicy question, guys, and we'll get the group going on here.
Could I answer one more question too?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. So, is there any new scoops, any new news for Unibright that we should know about?
Everyone's. It's interesting to see how many people have gotten interested in Unibright. But nonetheless, yeah, I will be definitely, someone asked here as well, Jordan asked if I'll be talking about Unibright anytime soon. Yes, guys, they've got the Microsoft Hackathon coming up. I'll mention a little bit about it in my upcoming daily update, probably, about some of the developments that go on. And again, like I said, guys, we've got some exciting things in the pipeline. I can't talk about it. Again, I'm a part of the project. But we've got some things coming forward. And again, I'm long-term on it, guys. I'm working with the project for a decent amount of time. You know, I'm going to be working for a good few months with the project, taking it off, helping to get the brand really formulated, and also helping with the actual underlying product, getting some partnerships going, hopefully getting it on some exchanges. You know, that's the kind of stuff that I want to do for it. I kind of do the full package when I do advisory work and everything like that, guys. I really work with the project, try to find what I can offer, connect them with any parties they need to get connected with, you know. So, but yes, to answer your question, Colm, yes. Hopefully there will be some announcements in regards to big announcements coming for Unibright in the future. And for now, there's the Microsoft Hackathon right now, which is pretty cool. It's good to see that they're doing some early stuff with Microsoft, toying around with Unibright. And hopefully we can get some actual good templates developed, some good use cases of Unibright in regards to using it for Solidity, for Ethereum, to speed up the process. And that's the big point about Unibright, guys, is it's going to make it, obviously you have the template and the okay, I don't want to show. I'm not going to show. Long story short, yes, I'll be talking about it relatively soon. So I'll keep it at that without going too far into shilling one of my favorite projects.
Yeah, I got it. Well, I'm excited for these future updates, whatever they may be.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, no, I like the project. It's again, team is one of the best I've seen to tackle this kind of issue. I think so. Either Martin, I think. Stefan, or no, sorry, no, it was Martin specifically, who has 20 years of SAP integration, which is exactly what Unibright's generally trying to focus on, is bringing in legacy systems, making smart contracts actually smart, useful, and also providing a framework where it's easy to develop it, and then also to be able to switch and be blockchain agnostic or protocol agnostic, being able to switch between different protocols. We have Solidity on there right now, looking to expand out to different languages as well, such as that for Neo, EOS, all kinds of different protocols. So that's the real power of it, is that it fixes so many easy onboarding issues for crypto. Alrighty. All right, let's see here. Let's get the last question. Kareem, I will answer this. It's a nice little small question. You can find the details on the hackathon from Unibright's, I think on Twitter, as well as on the Medium. It should be, I think it's I'm pretty sure it's happening this week. Don't know the exact date on it, but we'll be talking about it. Let's see here. Chip K, yes, I will be coming back to the West Coast when I get the opportunity. No, I didn't get to look into Dignity 14 DMG. I know Chef has been talking about Dig all the time. There's a lot of gold-pegged cryptocurrencies out there. But yeah, I don't know anything that's going to make it stand out comparative to others. So sorry about that, 14. I'll try to look into it when I get the chance. Jack, that's a good little fun question. Jack said, Nick, last question. The older viewers know you have experience in classical markets. Where are most of your friends now? Do they trade crypto as well? Jack, I gotta tell you, it's really funny. I've had more people on my world tour notice me from my crypto channel than people in the real world notice my relation to cryptocurrency, meaning like where I live, meaning by the real world. It's really funny. I've had a few friends come forward who are like, oh, Nick, I happened to find you online and stuff. I was blown away seeing you on YouTube. But yeah, I'm really, most people I still kind of generally know and stuff. They don't know that I'm still running this channel and everything. It's pretty interesting. I'm not too, I guess in a sense, I'm not braggadocious in any means by going out and saying, oh, look, I've got this great channel and stuff. I'm kind of quiet about it and stuff. Not for any reason specifically, but I just don't feel a need to go tell the world about it unless people are really interested in crypto. But for my friends, a lot of my friends are doing well. Many of them still going to college and stuff. Many of them are pursuing early careers, taking on trades. It's really cool to just see over time everything grow and to see people that I really care about taking on their ambitions. Definitely going through some struggles. It's hard to get that beginning to your career path and everything, but I can tell you it took some struggles to get something working for me. I've done so many different YouTube channels and projects and small businesses and all these different things, and trading and investing for years. I tried so many different things, and luckily the channel took off well. So I think that's a good question to wrap up off on, Jack. I appreciate you asking it. But if you guys have any further questions, or you want to get a discussion going, have some questions for the general community, want to get some different opinions, hop into our Discord, guys. You can type in !Discord, or you can go down in the description, click on the Discord link, hop in and chat with us in the general chat. We'll be talking in there for a little while. I'm going to definitely go use the restroom, get some more tea, but I will be in there for sure. But I want to say, as always, thank you guys for hopping into the live stream tonight. Had a wonderful time talking to all of you. Thank you for the awesome questions. Hope you guys can hang in there. I know markets aren't the best aren't in the best position right now, but hopefully things get better over time. We know that in the long term this will be great. We're in this for the long term, at least I know I am. And in that sense, keep a smile on your face, trade smart, stay safe, and I will see you guys either in the Discord or in the next video. Stay tuned and have a great night, guys.